Ahsoka Tano, a formidable opponent who has crossed lightsabers with many great warriors and managed to come out on top, one way or another, and the one who, after her brief live-action debuts in Star Wars projects, will be telling her own story in the upcoming series, with her navigating all of us through her quest of always hunting a bigger fish, one that deserves to be killed, and justice to be served, something all Jedi Knights know how to. As big as the Star Wars franchise is, which also boasts a lot of interesting characters, not many of them can participate with just how much of an interesting story Ahsoka Tano has. A character that is coming to the Disney Plus streaming platform with her own miniseries called Ahsoka. The character has a rich history under her belt in the Star Wars universe, with her wait finally over to present herself in the live-action scene. And we are not talking about top-notch protagonists that will eventually be praised by anyone right from the start. It was quite the opposite. Not an antagonist in the literal sense, but young Ahsoka managed to slowly capture everyone's hearts as the fans saw her go from an arrogant learner into a patient Jedi Knight over the course of Star Wars: The Clone Wars. When the time came and she left the Jedi Order to start a new life, many thought that this will in fact be the end of the character, with the franchise slowly but surely ruling her out of the equation and us seeing less and less screen time of her, which was not the case, as the world was able to see her choice to fight the good fight in Star Wars Rebels, where she even came face to face with her former master. Her duel with Darth Vader was supposed to be the end of her journey, considering how powerful Vader was at the time, but somehow she managed to cheat her death with her role leading her right to the live-action debut in The Mandalorian and a brief appearance in the Book of Boba Fett. So, with that in mind, we can see that the character has become a household name, and her story far from over, set to continue once again. As for how her story will go, we might never know. That is judging by her previous endeavors, with Ahsoka over and over again surprising us with a new way to be one of the most prominent characters of the Star Wars universe that Disney is trying to create. The most important thing to know is that the series has begun shooting, with production just starting a little more than a month ago on the 9th of May 2022. The news came through the platform's official Twitter account, posting a picture of the director's chair on set along with a caption that said, "Ahsoka, an original series starts production today." So, with that in mind, knowing that the production of the series has just begun, the earliest time when we could expect the series to release would be at the very end of 2022, or even further down the line, with the latter option being the one with a higher chance of being true. And as for a trailer, or teaser of sorts, we will have to wait a bit and let the crew do the work first, and then see the official footage of the series a few months in the future, hopefully by the end of summer. Speaking of the crew working on the project, leading the charge of the series has Dave Filoni, who will serve as the show's writer and showrunner, and the one who has been involved in pretty much every single Star Wars television project, both animated and live action. An interesting thing about the man running the show, however, it is not surprising at all that he was picked to be at the helm of things, considering that Ahsoka is one of the first characters that he personally created for the Clone Wars, not to mention his other work with Star Wars Rebels, an animated series that also showcased Ahsoka's true personality and everything she is capable of. As per usual, Filoni will also produce the show alongside Jon Favreau and Kathleen Kennedy, and although he will not direct all of the episodes, one other crew member who is joining him on this journey is Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse director Peter Ramsey. And before we move forward, we are here to discuss one of the most popular questions regarding the show. Will Ahsoka get a second season? Well, despite the first series not being released, we can confirm that there will not be a second season of the show as it stands right now, due to the fact that the series itself is titled as a mini-series, which implies that this will be a single season effort. However, we should also mention that you should not lose hope, as Disney has had tendencies to change things around in the past, and some shows were announced as a miniseries, which then turned into a series that eventually got a renewal for a second season. A prime example of this is Marvel's Loki, with a second season of the show already in the works as we speak. The main reason for a potential change would be the fact of just how successful this series will be. And in order for that, we will have to wait and see how the first season will play out. The series is expected to take place after her live-action debut in the second season of The Mandalorian, and presumably after her brief cameo in the Book of Boba Fett, which means that the events of this series will take place somewhere between the events of Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens, after the fall of the Empire and before the rise of the First Order. Naturally, we already know who will be taking on the role of the titular character. It will be Rosario Dawson, who has already taken on the role of Ahsoka Tano, and the one to appear in the live-action iteration of the character. Joining her will be Hayden Christensen, who has already been confirmed of appearing in the series as Anakin Skywalker before he turns into Darth Vader. The connection between the two is very important, as Anakin is the one who made Ahsoka who she is, with him appearing in the form of a flashback or two, seeing how the series is set after Vader's death. Another cast member who joined the project is Natasha Liu Bordizzo as Sabine Wren, a young Mandalorian and Imperial Academy dropout with expertise in weaponry and explosives. Pacific Rim star Ivana Sakno has also been cast in the series in an undisclosed role by now. Mary Elizabeth Winstead is also part of the series, with her character yet to be revealed. However, rumor has it that her role will be that of Arlani, Grand Admiral Thrawn's close colleague. Ray Stevenson has also joined the cast of the series, with his character also being a secret for now. Other potential characters from the animated shows who could be making their live-action debuts in Ahsoka include the likes of Ghost pilot Hera Syndulla and her son Jason, as well as Tamira Morrison as clone Captain Rex, who would still be alive at this point in the Star Wars universe. Like all of the other Star Wars projects so far, plot details are being kept under wraps. However, this doesn't mean that we do not have some kind of idea of where Ahsoka Tano's story will take her. Towards the end of her episode in the Mandalorian series, her goal became quite clear. After her duel with Morgan, she would go on to hunt for a bigger fish, Grand Admiral Thrawn, the Imperial leader and one of the major antagonists of the Star Wars Rebels animated series. Despite meddling with many Sith Lords and Inquisitors, Thrawn has turned out to be one of the most ruthless and formidable opponents that the band or rebels had ever faced. The show's end seemed a lot like a cliffhanger instead of an actual end. Thus, if Thrawn is truly alive in the events of Ahsoka, something Ahsoka Tano herself believes, there is a good chance that Ezra Bridger could still be out there as well, making the series itself not just a continuation of Tano's story, but a direct sequel to the Star Wars Rebels animated series too.
You have one day to decide.
On a related note, tell us down in the comments below, what are your thoughts on the series and the character as a whole, both in the animated projects and her brief but famous appearances in the live action? But also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon if you would like to see more videos like this in the future. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.